So, the Shazam movie is about to come to theaters. Chances are you've seen the trailers, you have a basic understanding of his character, you've probably looked him up, understand his history and origin. But what we're going to talk about today is why Billy Batson is the perfect superhero. Now, in order to do this, we need to actually go over his history and origin again. I know most of you know it, but bear with me. So, in the 1940s, under the publication of Fawcett Comics, there was Whiz Comics. Under the title of Whiz Comics, Billy Batson and Shazam first debuted. Billy Batson was a young kid reporter that if he shouted the magical name of the wizard Shazam, he would transform into the hero, Captain Marvel. Now, when Billy Batson first popped up, he was one of the most popular superheroes at the time. So much so that he actually outsold Superman. He outsold Superman by leaps and bounds.
See what I did there? He leaps tall buildings in a single bound.
This is absolutely insane. Think about this. When we think of superheroes, like the general idea of what a superhero is, in our mind, Superman probably comes up. That could have been Captain Marvel. Instead of having Superman movie reboots over and over again, we would have Shazam reboots over and over again. Now, this did not bode well for DC. Now, DC had actually sued Fawcett Comics before for characters such as Wonder Man and Masterman, who were both very similar to Superman. Nowadays, any company can create their own copy of Superman since the character's been around so long. All you have to do is look at Marvel and their massive catalog of Superman clones. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but back then it was a big deal. It was kind of the Wild West of the comic book industry. So, not too long after Captain Marvel's debut, DC sued Fawcett Comics for the similarity of their character to their own. This eventually led to Fawcett Comics and the character of Captain Marvel and the mythos being absorbed into DC Comics proper. In the 1960s, Marvel actually created their own version of Captain Marvel, who was a Kree superhero, which you have seen the movie, so you have a basic understanding of that character. So, as a result of this, the character of Billy Batson and his alter ego had to be rebranded as the superhero Shazam. Frankly, I think this was a good decision. I think it would be very confusing to have a character with the title name of a rival company. But since the 1970s, the character of Shazam has been mostly a background and guest starring character. He's appeared in shows like Justice League Unlimited, Young Justice, Batman the Brave and the Bold, and he even had an animated feature in 2010. Also, he had his own live action show in the 1970s. But what exactly makes Shazam the perfect hero that I claim him to be? Now, I must first say that Shazam is not my favorite superhero. However, the reason I call him the perfect superhero is because Billy Batson is a kid. His character was aimed at younger audiences. Most comic books were at the time, but he was one of the very first, if not the first, kid superhero. This is extremely relatable to any kid reading it. They're like, oh, all I gotta do is yell the name Shazam and then I become a superhero? In an interview for the upcoming movie, Zachary Levi said a lot of modern superheroes are more gruff. They're all like, oh, I have to save the world again. Whereas Shazam, Billy Batson, is like, oh boy, I get to save the world again. See, kids see the world as how they want it to be. Kids are hopeful. They see the world as what it could be, not how it is. As opposed to adults, we see the dark side of the world. Every kid wants superpowers. Heck, everybody wants superpowers. It's also extremely relatable to kids because when they see adults, they see all the opportunities that open up. And those opportunities are revealed via Shazam. Shazam is the eyes of a child in the body of an adult. It is the perfect fantasy for kids. But the reason why Shazam is the perfect hero is because he is also a fantasy for adults. The older I get, the more I look back on my childhood and I think, oh, that was so simple. That was so fun. I didn't have to worry about anything. I was also more hopeful. Billy Batson and Shazam bridge those two worlds. They help the younger audiences and the older audiences come together and see the good sides of both their circumstances. Most of the time, there's animosity between kids and adults. Adults will say kids are irresponsible. They don't understand how good they have it. Whereas kids say to adults, you have more power, you have more opportunities that I just don't have as a kid. It brings those two audiences and generations together. And the best part is, we understand each other more and have fun doing it. This is why he's unlike any other superhero, and the character's mythos has only become more relatable with the addition of the Shazam family. So, I'm extremely excited to see the movie. It actually comes out on my birthday, and being a comic book fan since I was a kid, it's a bit of a dream come true. So, I hope you guys enjoy the movie, and maybe I'll see you there. Y'all have a good one.
Also, he has electricity powers, and objectively, electricity powers are the best superpower. Like, just no debate. I'm not biased or anything. That's just, yeah. Okay, bye.